Hold on, I need to hear that again. What were you saying about emotions?
Oh, the spectrum of emotions I experience on this 102-mile ride rivals anything I've done in the past 10 years, athletically or personally, stemming from a very early crash to the seasonal roads, which I think that we're getting really weird with the line between seasonal roads, mountain biking, and what's rideable and not. I mean, I have a freaking beach in my shoe right now.
We don't look great.
We don't. I don't. Who looks worse but better? I think that this. I guess. I don't know. It could be the fact that I didn't shave my legs as well as you did, so more of my hair collected more dirt.
Connor, you were saying that was maybe one of the hardest races?
That's the hardest race I've ever done.
What made it that?
Well, it's kind of one of those live, laugh, learn moments where you take a spill and then you try to catch back onto a group and then catch back onto another group and hit the seasonal road and don't have the best bike handling skills, so you just find yourself all over the place. I don't know. What do you think? Was that hard for you?
It was hard. Heat, maybe?
Heat.
I think the seasonal, I mean, we've done some of those seasonal roads before. They were hard. Reminded me of like October Barry-Roubaix where it was really dry and but I think heat, and it was a kind of a fast punchy start.
It was very fast. I think that the fact that we did warm up our vocal cords with some chatter before.
I think maybe the caliber of racer that is entering the 100-mile psycho killer is getting better and better.
Yeah, not your Planet Fitness 100-miler anymore.
I mean, gone are the days when Trevor Gibney can podium at the Barry-Roubaix.
I don't think that those days are over. I think that, there are guys flying in from Colorado to do this now.
Yeah, good. That's awesome.
And I think it's cool, as proud Michiganders, that we can host such a great event.
Speaking of, let's clean up and have some beers. Slam some beers.
When do we get our mug? Is it a mail thing, or do I get it now?
I think you get it today. I think so. And if you know what you're doing, you should drink the beers out of the mug.
I think that's the only way to do it.
That's
actually why I raced the 100. That's what I told Liz before I left. Babe, I'm gonna go get us a mug. I've actually never called her babe until this moment.
Do you want to edit that out?
I'm gonna go get us a mug.
Yeah. All right. Mug shots.
Was it a big crowd?
Sebastian, how was your ride?
It was eventful. I fell a couple times on Sager Road, ate some sand.
Was it like going down and hitting some of the downhill?
Yeah. Well, no, it was like, you try to go around the sand in the leaves.
Yeah.
And it was just as bad in the leaves, and I just went right over. And then after Sager, I rode by myself for 10 or 15 miles.
Yeah.
Until a group caught me, which was nice. But then once the group caught me, it was smooth sailing from there.
Dude, same with me. I was alone for maybe 10 miles.
Yeah.
And it was a dark moment.
Yes.
I was
like, oh my God.
I was like,
is this going to be the next?
I'm going to have 50 miles of this.
Right, exactly.
But then a decent group caught me who was, they were cooking, and it's all I needed. And I stayed with them until the end. Was this one of the harder Barry-Roubaix?
Dude, it seems like it's the hardest course that I've done to date. I mean, obviously conditions were fantastic, but just seemed like there was a lot more climbing than normal. But maybe not. I think it was about the same.
Regardless, it was a tough day.
It was,
and we deserve to celebrate.
Absolutely, we need a few beers to calm the nerves a little bit.
Yeah. Let's go find Tristan. Before we have too many beers, but okay, we found Tristan. He's eating half of my Jimmy John sandwich.
That I did make fun of how much food you had, so now I do rescind that. I appreciate how much food you had. It was the appropriate amount, and I appreciate the milk bone you got me. I was a good boy.
Yeah, it's rich in sodium and carbohydrates.
All of which I need.
High in sodium. How did your day go? sir?
I finished with a little bit of time to spare to get a mug and feel pretty good about that.
Did the heat bother you like everyone else?
Yeah, I jokingly said I was going to have, I was doing some heat acclimation earlier in the week when I finally got to wear a summer kit, and definitely overheated today. As evident by my jersey completely unzipped and dust all over my chest.
Well, the rest of us are clean, so you better go clean up and we can get some beers.
Yeah, absolutely.
We also, right next to us, have my dad, Pete Gibney, and he just rode his first gravel race ever. Woo! And he did the Barry-Roubaix 36. Pops, how did your day go?
It went really well, better than I expected.
So we pre-rode it a couple weeks ago. Do you think that was beneficial?
Absolutely. I didn't get lost. I knew what to expect, and the hills didn't take me by surprise, so I knew I could do it, and I did.
So we didn't ride it easy a couple weeks ago, but I think we did like 2.5 hours, and I told you that you needed to do 15 minutes quicker than that. What was your time today?
2:12. So, yeah, I did better. I took 18 minutes off, so.
Yeah, perfect. Awesome. Are you going to do any more? Oh, you signed up for Iceman, right?
Signed up for Iceman, and we also signed up for the M22 Challenge.
Oh, right, the M22 Challenge. Cool. Fantastic.
That involves water, which I look forward to. I wish we had water today.
We better go find some water. Pops, it was awesome to see you do your first gravel race, and you've experienced Barry-Roubaix many times, but you haven't ridden it, and so I think it's so cool that do you mind if I say how old you are? At 70 years old, you're out there riding with everyone else and having a great time, so congrats.
Thank you, son. I appreciate it greatly.
From KOM Cycling and Michigan Midpack Media, welcome to the Dirty Chain Podcast, the podcast that covers the cycling scene from the viewpoint of the Michigan Midpack. I am your host, Trevor, and another year, another Barry-Roubaix. 4,000 plus participants between 4 different race categories, enjoying just one incredible day and one incredible after party. If you haven't experienced Barry-Roubaix yet, you are certainly missing out. In complete contrast to last year's near freezing, well, basically freezing weather, rain, snow, this year brought beautiful weather, 80 degrees, sunshine, a little bit of heat, and near perfect conditions. It was fantastic. You heard a couple voices up top. Connor Grant, who has been on the podcast a couple times, giving his immediate reaction to his Psycho Killer ride. Tristan and Sebastian, who you will hear a bit more on this episode. And also my dad, who I have to continually talk about because I'm pumped about his ride, about finishing the 36 so strongly in his first ever bike race, his first ever gravel race, and his first Barry-Roubaix. I invited Tristan and Sebastian back for a good old-fashioned sit down, swap race stories, and drink some beers. So let's just get right to that. And you can hear about our Barry-Roubaix Psycho Killer 100 experience. Barry-Roubaix 2023. So I saw Wakely and a couple other people walking around with a green mug, and I'm sitting there with my blue mug that I have 2 others, and I'm like, what the hell?
But I saw your mug at the table. Was this after we left?
So this was,
did we
leave?
leave?
This was like at the end. And then I saw Scott Tenkate, and as I'm walking out, and we're talking a little bit, and then it like dawns on me, I'm like, hey, what's the deal with the green mug? So how come I got a blue mug? And he's like, I don't know. We have a few different mugs, and we're just handing them out. So I don't think there was any rhyme or reason.
So I could have asked.
So I think we could have asked.
Did you trade or did you get a new one?
I traded, but I also got a new. Yeah, I got a new one.
He got 2 mugs.
Double mug club.
Yeah.
Hey, I guess that's what happens when you're in the 5:30 range, huh?
Yeah.
Oh, I looked back at my time from the other to see how
much worse it was.
Much better it was.
Your time from what?
For my last
year?
mug? No, my time for last year was like short of 7:30. But
Yeah, last year doesn't count for time.
October
right?
it was 5. I did like 5:58 or 5:53 or something.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So I think that just goes to show the end of the season. I think this was by far the hardest 100 course though. Like it. I don't know about you guys, but I thought the course.
Did you look
was
at the
awesome.
course?
It felt harder for sure.
The elevation. Did you
But-
run a Wahoo, right?
Yeah.
Did yours give you the climbs? Like it told you?
Yeah, it told me all the
Is that
climbs.
some sort of new update or some feature that Acker put in the route?
I've seen that on a couple like create. I think you got to create them a certain way, or I don't.
Because you know what did not show up, and I'm like, well, we're at 15 out of 16 with about 25 miles left. I'm like, fuck, man, we're pretty much there. About all the climbing's done, and then we hit the wall.
Wait, the wall was early.
No,
It was about 25.
Well,
yeah, 75
maybe 30,
miles
maybe
in.
30 miles left,
Yeah,
whatever.
70,
but I'm like,
75.
man, we're like 15 of these climbs left, and the wall wasn't one of them. And I'm like,
The wall was one though. It absolutely
it
said.
didn't. Well, it didn't pop
say
up.
like.
It didn't pop. No, he had like physical signs at it, but it didn't do the pop up for me.
Oh, interesting.
Like on my computer, it didn't pop up and say climb 16 out of 16 or
What?
15 out of 15.
Was that like 70 miles in or something?
Yeah.
That was like a sad crawl up the wall.
That was
Yes.
my I think
Very
my
sad crawl.
slowest wall that I've had ever.
Well, because usually the wall is earlier, isn't it?
Well,
I feel like
so-
before it was at mile 50.
So we've never, well, not we've never. The course the last few years has not had the wall. No,
it
it
did.
has. It
No,
has.
it's every
It
year.
has.
Yeah,
every year
that
it's
I've
had
done
the
it.
wall. But
I'm thinking Three
I think
Sisters,
it was
but-
sooner.
It was
Three
sooner.
Sisters was always
right
at the
off
end,
bat there.
but it was right at the beginning this year.
See, Three Sisters never really
No,
registered to me. Like I don't recall like that.
We didn't do Three Sisters last year.
And this year, it
Oh,
wasn't
you-
really all
yeah.
that. I mean, the third sister was a bitch, like the sign said, but like it wasn't.
It
I don't
comes
know.
so early. I was so afraid that
It was a good leg stretcher.
I was really afraid
It broke
that,
up the group.
Yeah,
Not mine. Not who I was trying to keep up with.
I
It
saw
broke
the-
up the front group.
I
for
saw
sure.
the pictures, and Sebastian, you were like after the Three Sisters, you were chasing on.
Yeah.
And I was looking through the pictures, and there's definitely like a big group that goes up, and then a bit of space, and then I see you coming through.
Yes. Yep. I got dropped at the Three Sisters.
No, I was
Well,
looking.
it's like that. What we talked about, like your positioning in the front group, like it, where Sebastian and I are typically at is the back of the front group where the selection is being made, and we know we want to try to stay on the front group, and we can suffer for however long, right? Or think we can suffer. But what happens is we're in that yo-yo period where there's a few people that are also committed, but nobody trusts anybody around them. And this year I was like, fuck it, no, I'm gone. But I knew I wasn't, so I didn't put myself in that position. I stayed back behind him. And it sounds like you were in that position where somebody else said, fuck it, I'm going to let this group go. And that wasn't obviously your intention.
yeah, that's dangerous. I mean, if you want to stay,
you got to line up at the front. And we showed up. We showed up late. So
I mean, we could have pushed our way up, but
I knew I wasn't going.
That's not that's not
Plenty
what
of-
I'm there for.
Plenty of people
you know?
did, yeah.
I know
I
I'm not
wasn't-
going to place.
Right.
So at that point, you just ride your own race.
But those are a lot
know?
of and those are a lot of matches though early that you don't necessarily need to expend or burn.
Exactly.
If you like line up in the right spot or after the start, kind of try to work your way up before the fireworks happen, I guess. But
They happened, 3 miles in?
goodness, I knew it would too. I thought that someone would attack, someone did attack, but I thought like the whole group would just go nuts.
Yeah.
But
What was the size of the group after Three Sisters? Like 30 people, 40
I don't
people?
know, 40 people maybe.
Yeah.
And then it stayed like that. It kind of broke apart and then came back together.
It came back together after Sager? Because that's when we caught you.
Not after
Was right before, not Sager, but the first seasonal road.
Was that Shaw or which one was it?
I can't remember.
We should do a little research.
should have
before
done
we- yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's.
I'm just going to pick up my phone and act like I'm looking at stuff. And then I'm just going to say I don't
Whatever.
want to
Yeah,
talk
so
about
it's
my time.
whatever that first seasonal road was, and that just everyone, it just like exploded the group.
Yeah. Completely.
And I knew that would happen. I mean, so did everyone, but no, I was looking at the courses, and so the first year, I think this is the first year that we all did the 100, was in 2019.
Right.
And it's pretty darn close to if you look at the map of 2019 and look at the map of this one, they're pretty similar.
Yeah, I think this route was designed to be somewhat safer from what I understand, but
Yeah,
I might be wrong.
I think it's
Because we didn't cross as many major roads where, you had to stop and actually look out for cars. I mean, a lot of the route, there was, throughout the whole day, I saw maybe 5 or 6 cars, oddly enough, besides the ones that were obviously standing at the intersections.
Right.
But I
and then
didn't
like
see
ones
many
that like
cars at all.
passed our group. It was obvious that they were on the road because of the race. They were like cheering on people or whatever. Yeah, and we didn't go through a town, really, and we didn't go.
No.
There was no stoplight.
Yeah,
No.
that was the first time I feel like that we haven't had that that stoplight gas station. You know what I'm
Right.
talking about?
Yeah, I mean that was north.
Yeah.
And that was kind of always a bummer if
You got stuck.
you got stopped there.
because it was
Right.
very visible too.
Right.
I don't know. My Strava said her Wanderer came up with only 16 new miles. So
Right. Which is still a lot.
It's not very much at all. Though. If you think about it, for a 100-mile race that I've only ridden over there for Barry, so
Right.
Well, that's why I think we rode a lot of those roads in 2019.
Yes.
And
definitely
also
did.
a few of them, like that first gravel section or the first
in a
2-track
different-
section, that was on the course the northern course last year. It was just later in the route.
Right.
yeah.
But that one's always a killer for sure.
Yeah, how did the sand go for you?
I surprised myself. I think I had the right tires.
Okay. What tires were you running?
They were 45s, so they're Kenda Alluvium,
Oh, okay. Yeah.
and so they're like file tread in the middle and some knobs. But I've been running those. I ran those last year too.
And what PSI were you running?
Like under like 30 to 35. So
Okay, so pretty low.
pretty low. Yeah, I was pretty happy with how they were handling the. I mean, of course.
How much did you like besides the uphill sand battle? What were you looking at for like
off the bu-
dismounting and
Yeah, I
like
mean,
100 miles or 100-foot sections at a time?
I mean, there's spots where everyone had to get off their bike. I mean, you
Right.
just couldn't ride it. I think I was more. I mean, was more impressed with being able to ride through some sections. Like you get down a hill and then to be able to like ride through it before it firms up a little bit.
Right.
But yeah, there was just some that you couldn't help but have to get off.
The uphill sand is pretty much impossible to
but I mean,
to execute.
I was trying to tell someone, like, those seasonal roads, they're not gradual hills. They're like really steep and really steep up and really steep down.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
they're not graded at all.
So you can bomb down those if you
Are willing to risk
it, and then you get down to like a sand pit, and if you don't know, if you have way too much weight on the front or whatever, you're just gonna fly over the bars. But
the only cartwheel I saw this year was because the guy was riding too far into the sticks, and he got a stick between his spokes and fork.
Oh, shoot.
Oh, man.
And he just barely it was like just barely over the bars, but his feet didn't unclip, so it pulled the bike up with him.
It's such a mixture
it wasn't a bad spill by any means, but
it's such a mixture of everything between, and it's not just look out for the sand, because there's huge like baby head rocks there, like boulders and sticking out of the and then there'd be like a wash where you have to jump over it, because if you like get your wheel in that, you're definitely going over.
Right.
And then like sticks and stuff if you're off to the side, which like you had to be off on the side a lot of the time.
Right.
What Sebastian, were you running 40s or?
Yeah, I was running 40s. The G1 speeds. Worn down too. But no, they were fine. I think really the key to the sand is, obviously leaning back and not putting too much pressure on your bars to the point where you're almost letting the bike guide itself.
Oh, yeah, you have to let it do its own thing.
Yeah, and so you're really loose on the grip. But then also like maintaining a pretty high cadence.
Yeah.
In a low gear to where you can, kind of spin through it, even if you do catch the sand a little bit. That's something that you feel like you're going too slow, but it's still faster than trying to walk through the sand, right? And going at an easier pace.
The key is with your height. When you get into the high cadence, you have to be at a high cadence that's just below where you're out of control. Because if you bounce a little bit, that's where you lose a lot of momentum. But yeah, you have to be at a really high cadence and just okay with going a little bit slower.
So this is one of the only times in this area that I utilize the 2x.
I was just about to say that.
when I get in the sand, I would always throw it in the small ring up front.
Yep.
And you're spinning, and it's perfect.
Yeah.
And it's like a immediate big step. Like you're getting the sand, you're like, oh shit, and you throw it in that little ring, but this happened several times too, where you're spinning, and then you have to get off your bike. And when you got back on, it's such an easy gear.
Right.
You have nothing to push against.
Yeah.
And your pedals are your crank's just like flying, but
spinning out.
Yeah.
Yeah. I really appreciated the 2x, and I think I'm surprised the 2x is going out of style, especially on road bikes, because you have the smaller cassette in the back, which obviously weighs less than, the 10 to 50 tooth cassette.
Yeah.
And, especially for road, the rotational momentum and, the weight rotationally that you have on the back wheel, I think it helps tremendously to have the 2x set up for those reasons.
Yeah. And I've been looking at some new bikes because I really want to get something with electronic shifting.
Right.
And I'm surprised that, like, there's still so many of those, like, even gravel bikes, like it's Force 2x or a GRX 2x. I mean, they're still out there.
Right.
Tristan, what tires were you?
Oh, 2.25 inch Schwalbe G1s, speeds, nice slicks.
Yeah.
Great all-around tire. Work great in the sand, great on pavement, great on hard pack. So I was sitting at about 22 in the front, 25 to 27 in the back, just to hold my winter weight up from bouncing. Winter and all of summer weight.
So my buddy John Rubel, that he rode the 100 as well, and he went up there. He was up there on Friday, and he took 2 wheel sets, 650 and a 700, and I think his 700 I think they were only 40s, and then his 650, I think he had like 2.1s on there.
What do you end up going with?
And so he went with the 650.
Really?
Yeah.
You saw enough of the seasonal road?
Enough. Yeah, there's enough
it?
sand that he felt like that was the right way to go. I think that the 45s, though, I mean, if you could go, like, I think Wakely said he was doing like 47s or something. I think that would have been a good.
That would have been great.
Yeah.
Yeah, 47s, 50s. I mean, but
the two, like, let me put it this way: the 2 2.25. I mean, it wasn't necessary. The only places like that it would have allowed me to ride would have been places that I probably had lost enough speed, or people in front of me killed my momentum. So like that becomes a point of, just because you can do it doesn't mean you should. Like, that would have just zapped my legs.
Right.
I ride that size because it's purely comfort. It feels good, reduces the vibrations, and I'm comfortable at it.
Yeah.
I don't think it saved me any in the sand or.
So I was reviewing, we chatted briefly on mic post race, and I think we were all kind of shell shocked a little bit.
Oh, definitely.
Like, we had like no calories in our body, and it was hot, but I mean, I finished it thinking, what you gonna choose?
Going hazy. Good choice.
We got it. Yeah, some beer choices here.
Made the selection.
I mean, I rolled through the finish line thinking that was one of the hardest races I've had to do, and I don't know what. Honestly, on paper, it wasn't much different than the other times. Similar climbing, similar sand. Is it just the heat that killed us, or what?
I think the heat for sure. Yeah. I mean, it was already 75 almost at 9 a.m. So
got up to 80 at some point.
Yeah. So and in the sun at 80 degrees. I mean.
Yeah, it ended up.
Keep in mind that was the second time I had rode in a summer kit all year.
I think that there's zero acclimation.
No acclimation.
And it was like total sun too. I mean, it did get cloudy that day, but not
only in the morning
and after we were done.
Yeah, after we were done. Yeah.
Yeah. 9 a.m. to 12 p.m. was sunny.
Yeah.
Which is the majority of the ride.
And I think I don't know about for you guys, but I mean, that first half I worked really hard to stay with some people and going through the seasonal roads, like just like burning match after match, trying to like get over hills and stuff. And then the second half I was dead.
Oh, I got dropped by a lot of people, in the sand. And I was like, okay, I can't, I'm not going over 190 with my heart rate. That's like the max for today. So I tried to control my heart rate a little bit more than I usually do. And after the seasonal roads, I was alone for probably the next 20 miles before the next group caught me. And, that was a nice break. Man. But I ended up catching a lot of, people that passed me on the seasonal roads later on because obviously they had
everyone else died.
Burned some matches.
Well, this is and this is the, I don't know, 4th 100 mile that we've all done, right? Or maybe
I've done 3. I missed last year.
Tristan, I think we've done 4, right?
Yeah, 4.
And it's, no matter what the course is, I know that somewhere there's going to be a seasonal road and it's going to break up the group. And it's all about getting out of that with a group and then hoping that you have a group to work with on the second half. And then you're good to go, right? But so that's what I tried to do. And I was with a group of like 4 or 5 guys. And I couldn't hold them. It was like the seasonal roads I felt like I did really well. Got to the other end and just kind of blew up.
Yeah.
And then I was also all alone.
I tried a different approach this year, and that was to control myself. And it felt like I was controlling myself very well. Like I let the front group go. I didn't try to stay to it. I rode my race, and then all of a sudden, feeling great, pulling the group that I was in. I had done, I don't know, maybe 10 miles of pulling for the last 20 miles. And I rotated to the back to take a quick breather. About 10 seconds later, I'm like, nope, I'm done. I'm off this group. My heart rate exploded. The heat got to me. I cracked. So, I mean, it ended up being a different story, but the same ending to how it usually goes for me. So it was kind of disappointing in that way. But I was like, okay, well, only 20 miles to go. I got this mug wrapped up. Like this is in the bag. I just I could walk home and get there. And then things got progressively worse, and I'm doing the math, and I'm like, okay, only have to get 12.5 miles an hour for the next 20 miles. Anybody could do that. Like, I got this. 10 miles later, okay, got to pick it up. Got to average 16.5 miles an hour now, and it just got progressively worse. And my math at that point in time, my brain was apparently shot because got back with a few minutes to spare. So it worked out.
8 minutes, was it?
8 minutes to spare.
8 minutes to spare. That's a decent amount of cushion.
No need to. Yeah, I was, but like in my mind for those 10 miles, 5 miles, I'm like, oh shit, I'm gonna miss this cutoff, and everything that I positioned myself for all day was worthless, essentially at that point in my mind. And then I'm like, I'm coming down the chute, and I'm like, okay, I made it, and I'm like, well, I got to ride bikes all day. This wasn't so bad.
Right. Exactly.
not a bad day. Got to ride bikes.
On a beautiful day.
And then I got to have some beers with some friends.
Yeah.
It's amazing how like the change of emotions that happen on a 6-hour bike ride. You go from so like high in adrenaline, and then like it all leaves your body and you feel like death. and then a group catches you and you take a breather, and then you're like, oh man, now I'm back with a group of people and riding strong again. And it's
drink some water, eat some snacks.
Or even if you're not even like in a chain, but you see people, and like
seeing people is huge. Like when you don't see anyone, it's a lonely place to be.
I was hanging out with the single speeder, and we weren't drafting off each other or anything. We were just there talking. And it was just like hanging out, and I was with somebody, and it was like, yeah, we got this. We got this in the bag.
Those last 5 miles, I think, they always go so quick.
I feel like they're downhill. All downhill.
The last, like,
especially when you get merged in with the 36.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
Did you get merged in with the 36ers?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, it's crazy. All of a sudden you're just coasting and flying by people, and you're just you're like, I think I'm towards the end now. Yeah. That's the home stretch.
And it's crazy too, because like you think about like the day that I had where I'm just like feeling good, and then off the face of the earth, and then I see them, and I'm like, awesome, I'm gonna overtake them. I'm passing on your left, like just thriving off the energy of being around people.
Yeah,
and and they're in the home stretch of their big ass journey too. So it just feels good to be feeding off their energy.
Yeah, for sure. And I think they tried this year, especially to minimize is not the right word, but the traffic was too heavy at the end.
Yes.
And there was causing some issues. So that's why the 62 started an hour later, because there were instances where the 62 and the 100 and the 30, like they would all come together, and then there were some dangerous parts to that.
Right.
I was so glad that the finish ended on a straight shot instead of a
around that corner.
Yeah.
That was so I never liked that.
Nice.
And I was in a group that we weren't sprinting for top 10, but it was like 15 to 22 or something.
Right,
so it's
right.
like you're either going to be top 20 or you're going to be outside.
Yeah.
And I knew, like, looking around at the guys, I'm like, we're all kind of looking at each other right at the end. And if we had to make that curve, and then also with a bunch of other riders doing different speeds, it does get kind of dangerous. So I was super happy that we just had a straight shot.
Plus, it was open to like the whole road versus with pinching off at the corner.
Yeah,
there it gets narrow. So
yeah, for sure. Can we talk about the Salsa Shea, but the Chase Lounge? I think they call it the Shea, but
the Shea Lounge.
The Shea Lounge.
Is that what it is? No one said what the official name
Sebastian,
is. I stopped. Yeah, I stopped and took a
So,
picture and got a
I
patch.
did too. I got a
When
patch.
we're talking about
It was quite the experience.
Yes.
about like the point in the race where it went from good to bad. This is terrible that is the point in my race forever. Like, in my mind, it's that stupid Shea Lounge that, and I was with probably, I think, 4 or 5 guys, and there were 8 guys up the road and 5 of us. So we knew that there was some, I don't know, there was top 10 in what we were doing. And I was hanging on a little bit, not feeling great, but feeling okay. We got to that. So the Salsa Lounge, Chase Lounge, Shea Lounge was on this private land portion of the route. That's the 62 did, the 100-mile did. It was a new part of the route.
Yeah, new addition.
And was it like a campground or
Yeah.
not a campground, but like a Boy Scout camp or something? I'm not sure.
Some sort of camp, yeah, because there were signs for the trail and there were parts of the trail that were dirt,
lot.
But it was like,
we definitely hit some grass.
yeah, it
that's
was like
for sure.
grass trails and a little bit of 2-track, kind of windy. It wasn't that bad.
It was pretty windy
Yeah.
and pretty rocky, honestly, I thought.
I could have used a little bit of a sit down on that furniture.
Oh, yeah.
And we were coming up to it, and I could tell that the group I was with, I could tell they wouldn't really.
They weren't into the lounge.
They weren't into it, but I had my hopes that they would be, and I think there were a couple guys that wanted to do it, a couple guys that definitely did not want to do it, and I think the front 2 guys just went, and they didn't stop, and everyone else just was like, okay, we're not stopping. I was on the back. I had a little bit of a gap. I was betting that they would stop. I needed them to stop. And
Just getting in line for the picture over here, guys. Don't worry.
And they didn't stop, and I lost them. That's exactly where I lost them. Then I was by myself for like
So
8
you
or 9
lost
miles.
them and you didn't stop.
And I didn't stop.
What a disappointment that
So,
is.
yeah.
Oh, my God.
I didn't put that together before.
I didn't either.
Yeah.
So not only did I get dropped there, I didn't stop and take a picture. And then the group that caught me later, all those dudes stopped. I was like, well, what the?
So what do we call that? Like you can't attack the lounge.
I felt like it was a real.
Don't attack the chase.
Nobody attacks.
It was
the chase zone.
It was the death of the spirit of gravel right there.
Yeah.
That
I think there should be an article that comes out about that.
Yeah, we could do a whole episode on that, I feel like.
So, did they attack? Did they attack there? Probably not. I kind of felt like maybe they did, but
No, they definitely attacked if they dropped you. I mean,
well,
I know how you ride, so.
would I have held on to them if I didn't have a gap, or if they didn't have a gap on me? I don't know. I don't think I had much longer with them anyways, so whatever. But it's a very like bitter pill to swallow that's where I lost them. and I didn't get a picture.
And you didn't get a picture. You like lost out on a part of the race.
Yes.
You know?
Yeah, the most memorable part of the race.
Exactly.
Yeah, and now it's like it's a bad taste in my mouth.
Yeah. I mean, I was by myself when I went into that section, so it was, and I could kind of see that there was a group behind me, maybe. Well, I knew there was somebody behind me, so I was like, oh, well, I'll just take my time through this section and take a picture and drink some water. It was a nice break because it was right in the middle when you felt like, oh man, I don't know if I'm gonna make it.
Right.
And then you're like, oh, I hit the chase. It's all good, you know.
Did you get a patch then?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I was out in no man's land. I had just passed a mountain biker, and I'm like, well, I'm by myself. There's nobody to catch me.
Right.
I didn't see anybody leading into it. I'm like, take my time, do what I want.
I wonder how many of the 62 like.
Because that was pretty early. That would have had to have been pretty early on for them. So the race
No,
was.
I don't think so. I think it was like towards the end.
It was in the middle of their race too. It was probably about 30 miles in.
Is that it?
I mean, that would make sense because it was about 50 miles for us, and we do like an extra.
Yeah, I got confused because we were getting really close to. There were points where I'm like, "Are we?"
I feel like we're close.
Well, I thought my route was wrong. Like I had the 62 route on my my Wahoo, because I'm like, I think we're about like finished. And then there's that one point where we
went instead of left.
Yeah, opposite direction. That south loop that I don't know. I hated it, but it was so weird that my least favorite parts were maybe just because it was the distance or like where it was, but it was just they were just regular roads, and I had so much trouble with the end and just the regular gravel roads instead of like dying on the seasonal roads.
Well, I think you put a little too much energy into
absolutely.
the seasonal roads.
Absolutely.
Because that was my whole plan. I was like, all right, save energy on the seasonal roads and make it up on the pavement. Mm-hmm. Because there's not that much pavement, but enough to where you can boost your average speed tremendously just off of the 2-3 miles of pavement.
Or even with the conditions the way they were, that hard packed, clean gravel. I mean,
yeah,
it was easy to pick up speed there even when I wasn't feeling the greatest.
Especially when you saw a flat section, you're like, okay,
yeah, I'm gonna put the head down. I'm gonna tuck in and just go. Even when you were already feeling like shit, you could still make up some time.
Exactly.
So if you had stuff in the gas tank, that was one to use it.
I felt like this was one of the few races where I kept up on my nutrition well enough because I stopped at the 62-mile aid station with a group because we were all like, all right, are we going to stop? Are we going to stop? And they were like, yeah. And so we all stopped, which was great. And I filled up 2 bottles with Infinite, and then I still had my hydration pack. And
how much did you start with?
I started with 2 liters of Scratch, and then 1.5 liters of water, plain water in my hydration pack. And then I filled up at mile 62 with 2 liters of Infinite, and I had about half of my pack left.
Okay.
So I probably could have used another half a liter of water. I was very conservative with my water. I would just take sips and not like chug it because I didn't want to drain it too fast. Yeah. But I also was eating real food pretty much all day. I was just snacking on my combos.
Oh, okay.
And Rice Krispie treats. Had a couple gels. So I kind of mixed it up.
Those combos you got me?
Yeah.
Remember when you talked about spitting them out? If you got into a bad situation, my mouth was so dry I couldn't spit them out, and I had them in my mouth for the wall.
Oh no. It was so terrible.
How much water did you
I started
you ran a pack, right?
Yeah, I started with a 2-liter on my back. That was using like the goo hydration tabs. I did 2 1-liter bottles of goo Roctane, and then 1 1-liter bottle of straight water. Refilled 2 water bottles at 62. Things fell off at 80, so I stopped and got another bottle of fresh water at 88 and made it home with no water, no fluid. I was cooked. But you look at my average heart. We looked at my average heart rate afterwards, and I ran 174 for the duration, and
holy cow.
That's the equivalent of my like 2-hour max effort on like a Thursday night gravel ride. So, I mean, it explains why it was overdone and overeated. So
I think I may have been in the 170s, but
yeah, I was right at 170, which is good for me.
Yeah, I was at threshold for over 4.5 hours.
168, so yeah, it's close.
I mean, my max is like 194, and
yeah,
I'm not really. I have a good ability to hold threshold for perhaps longer than most people can, but I think I got into my threshold a little earlier and sooner than I would have liked to.
I think the heat made the recovery harder. Of course, but I think that's where I got into trouble. But yeah, I did 2 liters of straight water in a pack, and then 2 smallish bottles, but I had like a ton of calories, infinite in there.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe 400 calories per bottle.
Yeah,
something like that.
About what I was running.
Yeah, and I was trying to conserve that, so I had one each 50 mile. And then I had a bunch of other gels and just other calories and stuff to consume. But I was out of everything. Not calories. I had more gels, but I didn't want to.
Yeah.
I didn't want to take them if I didn't have any water. But I was totally out of water. Totally out of.
So you didn't stop?
Did not stop. No. But I think I finished water. We had less than 10 miles to go. So it was like, okay, like it's not comfortable, but you
didn't have water with 10 miles left.
It was something like that, yeah.
Oof,
you didn't take
rough.
some from the kids handing it out there right before, right?
Yeah, did you take any hand-ups or no?
It's like a 5 mile. I think it was just after the 5 mile to go sign, and it's like this dirt kicker into a stop sign, and there's always kids out there handing out water. Man, they saved me the first year I did it so bad, and then this year I thought about it, and I'm like, nah, I got a couple ounces left. I'll be all right.
Yeah, there was one place I was doing hand-ups. It was like an official stop.
Right.
But there was a car parked right, and I saw that they left like right after we went through, but they were like giving hand ups,
it off.
And then like right after the hand up was the car, so like we couldn't get really close to them to grab water because this car was right there, and so you'd have to grab water and then swerve out of the way of the car parked there, so that didn't really work well. I took one hand up just to get water on my head, but that was earlier. But yeah, when I finished, I was trying to decide if it was definitely hard, and I was like, is this the fastest Barry 100 I've ever done? And so that led me to go back and look at my times of previous 100-mile Barry-Roubaix Psycho Killers I've done. And we're going to leave out last year because the conditions were so slow and whatever. It was my slowest, but my best Barry-Roubaix because I got on the podium, but but we're gonna keep that one out of there. But
So you made it to the podium in the slowest year ever.
that's not what I said. That's
Yes,
not the.
that's what he said. That's what he said. I heard it.
But your slowest time
My
was
slowest.
proportionately less slow than everybody else's.
I'll take that. Thank you.
So there's your compliment.
So I look back, and
Maybe
so
backhanded,
I
but-
had two other. So I've done it. I've done 4 Psycho Killers now. So I had last year was the slow, cold, ice, snow one, but then I had 2 others. So one was in October. One was just a traditional like April one. All different distances by like a couple miles, different times of the year, and each one I finished in 5 hours and 33 minutes. Like just seconds different. I don't understand.
I think you just have a you're hitting a plateau in your training. You get really strong, but like it's like right here. And you just keep repeating it.
I don't get it.
Which is good. It means you're consistent.
Yeah. But I didn't know that was either a threshold I can't.
Trevor's ceiling 5.
533.
533.
What the? It's so weird. But I guess I have something to work for next year.
Yeah, I definitely do because I think 2019, my time was 5:33.
Yeah, because we rode together.
We rode together.
Yeah.
Yeah. And yeah, this year was like 5:50. So.
Well, but I mean,
a little bit off, but.
You wonder what. I mean, different times, different courses, different. Even for like ourselves, like we're in like different parts of our training. I mean, you basically came straight off a ski hill and, and just like took your skis off and got on a bike and did Psycho Killer.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
I mean, I have 1,000 miles for the year.
Yeah.
Right. So I haven't been training that much by any means. So still great to see where I'm at. I'm not upset about it at all, but I'm excited for what's to come.
What are we doing next? I mean, Tristan and Sebastian, you guys are doing some long stuff this year, right?
We're about to become best buds.
Yeah. We're doing the Moore route, which is very exciting.
The whole
We're doing the lower
elbow.
peninsula. Yeah.
No, we're not going to go. We're not going to cross that bridge.
Well,
but if we cross that
might.
bridge, we'll
We
cross
might.
that bridge if we have to.
literal bridge.
Yes,
If
the
we-
Little Bridge.
Look, if we get an opportunity to cross that bridge, we're crossing the bridge.
Yeah.
But we're not gonna we're gonna set our expectations for just the LP, and if we have time to kill, we might go across the bridge.
First of all, Tristan wants to ride. To
I think
the
we
start.
ride to the start, right?
He doesn't.
Where is the start?
Well, it's basically at the
Indiana,
border of
Well, it's Indiana.
Michigan and Indiana.
Yeah.
So,
Was it like
So I think we should ride down to start, loop around through Ohio, and then swing back up into Indiana. And
how many extra miles does
it's
this?
like
adds
200
an
miles.
extra 200 miles. No big deal. Like
I mean-
dude, let's just like ride across and then get on the route. He's like, no, let's ride around and down and through Ohio. It's like, okay, bud,
Don't worry, I've got it mapped out. It's on.
We gave ourselves what, 9 days?
Yeah, we have 9
So-
days, so we're pretty hopeful that we can get the 700 and some miles.
So it's all like
done.
self-supported ish, right? Or
Yeah, we're taking
Convenience
all our
stores and
camping gear and
yeah,
bike
gonna
packing the
figure it
shit
out.
of it.
Yeah.
better figure out before Ohio or
Well, yeah, we'll figure it out. I'm sure. We got a spreadsheet going. Compliments to Sebastian. I've looked at it. I haven't contributed to it.
Not yet. Not
I've
yet.
bought gear, but I haven't actually tested it. We'll do a little.
That's
we'll
what
do
you
like a
should
little
have done
ride up to
for Barry though. You should have used that as like a
rode out to Barry and tested it.
No. You just ride the course, but you put all your gear on your bike to make sure that you can ride.
I wanted a fucking
just
mug.
Yeah, are you kidding, dude? With like riding fully loaded in a race like that?
Sounds smart.
thank
With the
you.
amount of
No.
people around.
Well, you
did you
don't-
see all the people that crashed? Did you guys? I was behind. So this was one thing that was really weird from being in the position. I was in like that middle group, right? And just we kept seeing people that were at like carnage on the side of the road.
Oh, shoot, really?
There's at least 4 or 5 people with big old holes in their asses on the bibs and blood, and it's like,
Wow. I didn't
we
even
saw
see
the
any of
carnage
that.
of that.
Yeah,
I mean,
I didn't see
I don't
that
know.
at all.
I don't know if there's a group. There's at one corner. You were kind of. It was like probably 5-10 miles in, and it was down this hill and around a corner. And the corner was like loose gravel on hard pack,
Right.
and there wasn't really a clean line, except to the outside. And there were 2 guys tangled up on the outside, where I actually unclipped my inside foot and had that ready to put down, because like I didn't think I was getting around them, but there were so many people tangled up.
Wow.
That was a weird position to be in. Usually I'm in the flip. I'm like where they are actually flipping over.
That literally happened to us. When was that?
That was
20.
That was at Coast to Coast, wasn't it?
No.
Or Water?
Remember it was right after the pavement.
Yeah.
Right after the pavement, we got onto the gravel, and there was literally a huge crash right behind us. Like multiple people went out and took out the whole group. That was
Watermoo.
no, that was Barry.
Well, it happened at Watermoo too.
It
It
happened
did happen
at Barry.
at Watermoo.
It happened at Barry too. I think that was 2019.
No, I wasn't with you though in 2019. It was Watermoo, where you lost your computer and you were right in front of me.
Oh,
It happened
no.
in multiple places at Watermoo though. Yeah.
Did
Anyway.
you didn't see any crashes? Did
I saw
you?
one. Well, I
you?
heard one.
Did you stop and offer help, or
It was a huge group, and like
somebody else got to it?
must have. I hope
Yeah.
so. No, we were kind of like we were going fast, but kind of going up a hill, and I heard the crash, but I'm pretty sure that they just like got up and got right back. I think Nick DeHaan crashed, and he still got top 10. So
Really?
and that was early, like in the huge group.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Well, they don't call him Diesel for nothing.
Yeah,
huh?
no kidding. But yeah, it gets sketchy. That's why those starts, like I almost am like waiting for something to break up, like a climb or
That's
the
nice when
seasonal
that
roads
happens.
where like now you have space that you're not around 20 other riders that because there were like there was a moment it was maybe only 10 miles from the finish, and it was at the bottom of this hill, and you could tell that it was just graded, and they just put down a bunch of like really thick, wasn't sand,
Right.
but it was like just thick gravel, and it had to
Thick
be like
gravel,
4
yeah.
inches of loose gravel that
Mm-hmm.
just you couldn't tell it by looking at it, but once you got in it, it just like it was like quicksand and you couldn't move.
Right.
It was so awful. I was like, I made it this far and I'm gonna lose this group because I got caught in that, but I got out of it. Hey, I want to quickly talk about my dad who did
Oh yeah.
Oh
who
yeah.
did the 36. Pretty
Gives
impressed.
props.
Yeah, give Pops some props.
How old is your
70,
dad now?
70.
70.
Yeah, he was.
I think they should look at some of these age groups. I hear there's some tight
Yeah.
competition. I mean, they got 65-year-olds, no 70-plus age group.
Well, it's 65 plus. I don't think.
I know.
There's
Yeah.
no.
Just saying, maybe
there needs
maybe
to be
we
a
need to speak. What's your listenership look like? Do we have a 70? Anybody in the 70-plus
in that demographic.
Because we need to get them out of their seats and up onto a bike. Build this class up so he can take home a podium.
Yeah, I wonder how many other year olds.
Yeah.
There were.
I bet there are a few. I saw. Well, I mean,
you
it
could
was
sort it, right? Could you pull it out and sort? I mean, out of
Probably.
4,000 some people, there's got to be a good handful.
yeah,
With 4,000 people, right?
I don't know.
four plus. Yeah.
Plus, right?
4 or 5.
I mean, it is the
think.
largest single day gravel race,
Event.
right? Yeah, gravel event. I mean,
in
Yeah.
the country, I think, right? Participant wise.
Single day. So like, wait, I don't know. Is Unbound bigger now? I'm not sure.
I don't know. I mean,
Yeah.
I don't know. What was the? I feel like there was a post that I saw or something.
Well, there's one today. Yeah. But
Yeah,
I mean,
just a lack of media coverage for it, but a little disrespect to the Midwest. No big deal.
They don't want to
It is.
admit that Michigan gravel is the best.
Yeah, I mean, there's some people that traveled out
I
to
feel like-
Michigan and
I
really
think-
enjoyed their time.
Yes.
I think Barry just
absolutely.
likes where it is. It doesn't.
Oh, I don't think Barry. I'm not saying Barry needs to do
Yeah.
anything about it. It's just interesting this year seeing where it fell compared to like the other event that occurred on Sunday. So just interesting.
BWR.
I mean, it's just
Yeah.
interesting.
They conflicted.
Yeah, but like
Fix your microphone.
there's is my mic falling down like my heart rate monitor?
Yeah.
You gotta tighten it up.
Oh, you gonna make me work. Yeah, I tried the heart rate trick for my mic. Lower to reduce my heart rate. I use the method of sliding your heart rate monitor down your chest onto your stomach, and that gets you better results.
Yeah, you get a good reading on your belly button.
Usually my heart rate decreases when when that happens. I don't know if it's because I'm so exhausted that I don't give a shit and it just slides down, or it's reading inaccurately, or I'm just no longer able to keep that high of a heart rate. So,
Well, hey, we are. I feel like we're spoiled because in an hour or less we have one of the best races that delivers every single year.
Yeah.
And it's like, it's crazy how, it can be the same course, the same area, the same whatever, but, one year to the next, it's just like a whole different experience. And then
hearing all the people come in, like I talked to somebody from Chicago. I saw somebody from Chicago that I've ridden with at Barry a few times. That is significantly faster, so I usually only see him for a few minutes. Then, I rode with somebody from Milwaukee that it was their first gravel race and first 100-mile ride ever. Like, bit off a real big chunk to start gravel racing, and he just said, how cool Barry seemed and inviting. So,
Yeah.
I mean, I think that speaks a lot.
for
Yeah,
sure.
I think there were a lot-
Milwaukee's not super close, but
I was riding with a guy on the seasonal roads who was from Ontario. So
Yeah.
I mean, there's people who come from all over. For,
Yeah, I think I
Barry.
rode with a guy from Colorado. I mean,
Oh wow.
so, but yeah, I mean, it's one of those weird things where it seems like a local race for us because we're local, but
Right.
but then you get there and, I mean, and even when you're riding, it's tough. You don't get I don't, because you can only take in so many people around you.
Right.
But when you look at those pictures, like going through pictures today, and you see these shots from down the hill, and you just look at this huge group of, even the 100-mile, which was one of the smaller races,
Right.
still was just a huge amount of people. It's super cool. And yeah, I don't, it's why we come back year after year. It's why
Well-
it'll always be like the staple. It's like there are other races, like I raced last week, but it feels like the season opener.
Oh, it does.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And let's not forget how great the after party is at Barry, because not many other races have the setup that Barry does.
Yeah.
I mean, you've got huge array of tents, all different types of vendors. You've got 4 different types of food trucks and all the
feel
beer
like
you
it's
can
an extra.
drink.
I feel like it's an extra food truck every year. Like,
Yeah.
At one point, I had every food truck, but now I don't even know. There's options out there I haven't tried yet.
Yeah, there was a great variety of food, and I feel like they had a lot more because there were such big lines in the past for like the one food truck that there was, because everyone wants to eat at the end of a race.
And I feel like it's like a collective decision that people are going to hang out for a good length of time afterwards.
Oh yeah.
And I've been to plenty of races where there is a bit of an after party, but it's like everyone needs to get home, or like it's just much shorter, and but yeah, the after party, Barry-Roubaix after party is definitely something to. I mean, it helps that your main sponsors, founders, and there's a huge beer truck and
semi full of beer out there. Yeah.
Yeah.
That doesn't hurt things.
And they do well with there's a lot of like the podiums are there's so many people, so there's a lot of age group podiums, and there's 4 different distances, so there's that. The podium presentations take a long time.
Hours.
Yeah. So I mean, people are hanging around for all that time too.
Right. No, that's the coolest part about Barry. I mean, you're looking forward to the end when you can drink that beer.
When
5 miles to
5
go.
miles to beer.
Founders, 5 miles to beer.
It's like, okay, I can do it. I can do
pause
it.
for a second? How many beer hand-ups did you see out there this year?
I didn't see any.
I didn't see any either.
I didn't see any either.
Apparently there was.
Yeah,
beer
so I heard
somewhere,
there was
but
some out there, but I didn't have any. And you know what I really wanted to do for my picture on the chase?
Yeah, you were telling me about this in the car.
Was to drink a beer. and I think did you ask if I was going to carry one? And I'm like, no, well, I'm not going to carry a beer out there. I'm assuming that I'm going to come across the beer on Barry.
They should have had them at the lounge.
I think this was the first
hand-ups.
time that I haven't seen a beer hand up at Barry, which, I mean, if you go back to the Moran 166 recap, I had a beer in that race.
Oh yeah.
If you go back to the Iceman recap, I took a shot at in the race. Like there's a theme here. I would have taken a beer.
So I think that
lesson
the
learned,
different
carry
the,
your own.
Yeah,
the
you're
time
gonna carry it.
changes where like the 62 was later, so we finished before like the 62 route got to any of the
Spots
areas
that we
that
did.
we. So remember,
Right.
there's like usually like a guy playing drums.
Right.
There's someone dressed up as a T-Rex. Like
Well, that was out there.
Yeah.
I think that was on the 32
I didn't see any
mile
of that.
course. I saw it posted.
I saw it posted. I know
Yeah.
it was out there, but I feel like we missed it.
I certainly
we're a different breed.
If you guys missed it, I bringing up the rear certainly would have seen it, and I didn't. It wasn't out there.
Yeah,
It was.
I don't think
course.
I don't think you're bringing up the rear.
I don't think
I
it
was
was
in
in
the
the rear.
I was in the
You're-
top. I was at the
you-
bottom of the top there.
I was gonna say
but,
you're in the mid pack.
Yeah,
you
you're
know?
a mug clubber.
Yeah.
I'm a solid mid packer here.
Yeah.
You guys are overachievers, is what you are.
No.
Well,
Not yet.
Did we deserve the weather's such crazy? Do we deserve it because last year
suffered?
was the worst? And
I think so. It's just, it's karma,
so what's
We
next?
paid-
Like I don't know. I mean, I would have preferred.
I don't know,
I think a
man.
lot of people would have preferred like 60 degrees instead of 80 degrees. But
hey man,
I think it made it for a better race.
I'd rather
Yeah.
have a little bit of heat exhaustion than being cold all day.
then like frozen digits for
Yeah, I could have done things to prevent that heat exhaustion, and I chose not to.
Yeah, my
Right.
fingers are just starting to get back to normal from last year's race.
I was look. This race thawed me out from the year before. I finally got that 12th gear back.
So crazy. I mean, It was like
What was the temperature
50
difference?
50-degree difference. It was
50-degree difference.
it was in the
yeah,
30s.
50, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I didn't do it last year. I was skiing.
Yeah.
But,
Yeah, we were about skiing, but
I mean, we were essentially skiing,
Yeah.
except
Yeah.
on 2 wheels.
yeah, that's.
oh man.
I'd prefer not to.
Well, great job, guys.
Good work.
Oh,
I do want to give you a compliment on your post-race food selection. You had posted a picture with an exuberant amount of calories in it.
I thought ahead. I thought I was brilliant. I was like,
That was genius.
It was.
gonna-
It was.
Jimmy
And-
John's
I'm gonna get some Jimmy John's
post-race.
because
And
I
you
know
even
that
had-
I remembered that the lines for food for the food trucks are so long that
Right.
until and we still got pizza. We still waited in line and we got food. But by the time you get food, you are maybe an hour and a half at the least amount from your finish.
Right.
And maybe 3 beers in. And I thought I got to play it safe and have food ready to go in my truck right away. So that's why I got 2 giant Jimmy John sandwiches, some chips, Coke.
Wait, you got 2.
huge.
I got 1/3 of a sandwich. Where'd
You
the
got
other-
No,
half.
that was
You
a
got half a sandwich.
That was half a
You
sandwich?
got half a sandwich.
Holy
Dude,
shit.
don't complain. Are you complaining?
No, I'm not. I'm saying I started this as a compliment. Like
And we
I started.
carried that thing all around when we're trying to find
started
you.
Yeah, we were
I
I was
mocked
calling you, and then all
I
of a
was-
sudden you were right there. It was like, what?
I was mocking you for how much food you had the night before. I think I even said
Yes.
something to Sebastian on the way over
Yeah.
there.
He's
and
like,
then,
dude, did you see Trevor's post on Instagram? of how much
goddamn food he had, including the dog
Is he gonna
treats?
carry all that? I was like,
and then you came through and you had it as shareable.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'll give that credit. I was
that
a
was
little
big time.
Yeah, that was
big time.
that was clutch because I went from being in a dark place, thinking about how long it was going to take me to get some food, and then all of a sudden the food was there. And then, what did your dad buy the pizza? Shout out to whoever bought the pizza for us.
yeah,
'cause,
it was-
Yeah, my dad bought the pizza.
yeah, that was fantastic because again, I didn't have to wait in line. The food was just there,
I was
and then
like, all of a
you
sudden,
came
there's
and got me
pizza.
when the pizza was
Yeah.
there. You're like, hey, you got to come eat this. And I mean, you were
You were
the food
thinking
king.
ahead. You were thinking
Gotta
ahead.
think ahead, man.
You took
That
care.
was-
It
You
only
took it.
takes 4 psycho killers, but you figure it out one way or the other.
Wow.
Yeah,
Eventually,
get
yeah.
it.
Well, next time I'll bring the sandwiches.
Some people are faster learners than the others. I've done 4 and I still haven't got there. So maybe the 6th one I'll get you guys.
Oh, okay. We'll look forward
Well,
to
I think
it.
we could bring more sandwiches.
You know what's crazy is there's a McDonald's right around the corner that I've only gone to once
Oh,
as a
well.
result of
I don't think.
the Psycho Killer.
Yeah, McDonald's doesn't sound.
I always crave a double cheeser. I eat
double cheeser.
I eat maybe McDonald's once every 2 years, and every time I race the Psycho Killer, I want a double cheeser until I had that.
Who calls it a double cheeser?
Never heard that.
Listen, back in my day,
It's a double cheese.
Double cheeser, man.
I don't know.
You didn't know about it?
That's just what we called it.
I do. I am definitely a like after all said and done, maybe like the day after, I crave like a huge burger. Oh God, I want a burger. That's kind of my thing. Definitely had a crunchy burger yesterday.
Oh, yeah, there you go.
It was delicious. It was delicious. All right, we ending this thing?
Yeah,
or
I could. Well, that
Are you
good.
done?
anything else?
Yeah,
I could have another beer.
yeah, I could too.
The Dirty Chain Podcast is a Michigan Midpack Media production in partnership with KOM Cycling, the source for your bike accessories and necessities. Connect with us on Instagram and Facebook at Dirty Chain Podcast. Email dirtychainpodcast@gmail.com. If you are enjoying what you're hearing on the podcast, please leave us a rating and review on whatever platform you use to listen. Audio editing and original music by myself, Trevor Gibney. A huge thank you to Sebastian and Tristan for helping me out on this podcast, and an even bigger thank you to the entire Pavement Ends team who puts on Barry-Roubaix for another incredible year. And thank you all for listening to the Dirty Chain Podcast. And as always, keep your chain clean, but get your chain dirty. We will see you in the mid-pack.